Hey guys, welcome back to Pops and Bangs, and I'm back here with another video. So today we'll be taking a look at the Toyota Corolla Cross. This is the 1.8 XR. So we're gonna take a look at its styling, interior, and a bit of tech, or let's say safety features that it comes along with, and also talk about its practicality, who it's meant for, and what it's like to spend a day with. So without further ado, let's get on with the review. And if you like to see more videos like this, please do not hesitate to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. So right off the bat with this one, I have to admit that Toyota's styling never fails to, pack a punch. It does not disappoint. So you can already see from here that the car looks really good. Just to like pick out from like afar, I really like the color. I think this is what they call glacier white, very shiny. And then you have some contrasting, or let's just say black plastic elements to just give it that rugged, kind of off-road look, more with like these compact SUVs. And they have a new, like redesigned front bumper here. As you can see, there's kind of like a honeycomb design. So let's just zoom in to just talk about the styling of this thing. So up front, you get these LED daytime running lights, and these look really sleek. And as you can see, like they have this sort of thin design just to give that car that sleek, sort of modern, futuristic look. And then further along the front, you have this new whole redesigned front end. So now instead of like the grill that used to be on the car before, let me see if I can insert an image. We now have a sort of honeycomb design, and there's more sorts of like plastic, black contrasting plastic elements just to give it that rugged off-road look. And the car's body lines, I don't think they're like as the paint complements them as well as another paint option would, but it has some really sweet body lines, like just this one that sweeps down all the way there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the front. I mean, this car looks really good from the front. So further along the side, you get these 18-inch alloys, and they have this sort of twin five-spoke design. And then on the inside, you also have disc brakes. Yeah, nothing special over there. Then they're wrapped in these Bridgestone tires. So along the wheel arch, you have this, again, black plastic surround thingy, just to like give it that, in the automotive space, we call it like a cross design, But yeah, just to give it that sort of off-road rugged look. Then further along the side, you have more of it running down along the car, down along where the side skirt would be. And it continues again at the back. And then over here, you have some chrome elements all over, which go all the way to the back. They sweep all the way there. And it says Corolla Cross right there. And then up top, you have some roof rails, just to give it again that, you know, that rugged off-road SUV look, I guess. Yeah, and then these are your wing mirrors. And then if you look in here, you'll see that there's this symbol. We'll discuss what that means later on in the video. And then these are your door handles. And yeah, if you see something like this means that the car has like, it has keyless go, or like you can lock the car without having to like physically press the key. So if I press this, I guess the car would unlock. I don't know. Yeah, there it is, unlocking. There we go. And then further along the back, you have more of that black thingy styling, I guess. And then on the other side, there's actually an Easter egg, but I don't want to spoil now the back of the car for you. So without just revealing too much, on the back, you also get a tiny Easter egg just to like show the shape of the car, which I think is really cool. You also get another Easter egg there, just another silhouette of the car shape. And then, of course, you have a kind of low-key spoiler on the back. So that's pretty much it for the side of this car. So over in the rear, you have these tail lights. Yeah, nothing special there. And then you also have your XR badging, just to like denote how far up the spec sheet this car really is, maybe how expensive it is. And then you have your Corolla Cross badging there as well. And then more of that black plastic just to give it again that rugged cross look. And then down there you have now some white elements just to give the car, just to give the back end a bit, of contrast. Like I said, this car is, like, from my opinion now, is meant to be like the bridge between a compact SUV and like something you can take off road. So as you can see, the styling reflects that. So before we step into the inside of this car and talk about the interior, I want to talk about some, more sort of futuristic or kind of technological elements, like the 360-degree camera. So, like, you have a bunch of cameras that like form an array of cameras to give you that kind of 360-degree camera effect. So there's one here in the back, and then you get two on the side. Just below the wing mirrors, there's one there. And then finally, you get one in the front. It's the final one there, just to give you that surround kind of, like a 360-degree camera view, basically, which makes parking and maneuvering through tight spots pretty easy due to this. So, yeah, I think now we can move on to the inside of the car. So stepping into the interior, let me just unlock. There we go. Ooh, keyless go is actually very convenient. Not keyless go, but keyless entry. So the first thing I would like to say, like straight off the bat, the interior of this car, I mean, it's very functional. The word I'd use to describe it, if it was just one word, would be very functional. Everything is where you need it to be. I mean, and like everything in this interior just makes sense. And there's also some bits and pieces that surprised me. So first of all, before we step inside, I would like to draw attention to the seats. So in this car, you do get power seats for the driver only. So you can move it forward and backwards and then recline and straighten the seat. Yeah, nothing new there. And then the rest of the seats should be manual. So if we just get in, as you can see, this is my driving position. Let me just close the door. This is my driving position. And this is pretty neat. So like I can show you further down because the gimbal is in the way, but like everything, like this would be pretty comfortable, and this is just something I just set up on the fly. So space in here I don't think will be a problem. And that's actually very surprising considering the size of the car. But for some reason it feels so spacious on the inside I can't describe. And I also have a bunch of headroom in the driver's seat. Mind you, I'm a very tall individual, so that's saying a lot. Yeah, but let's move on further. Let's talk further about this interior. So this is basically off of my phone's ultra wide camera, just to give you guys the widest shot of the interior without me having to pan around and stuff so much. So we're gonna talk about, steering wheel and just basically everything I can get my hands on from here. So let me stop yapping and let's get started. So let me just turn the car on first. I don't want to close the door because lighting is going to be very bad with the door closed. Oh, I have to turn it on. Okay, so right off the bat, the steering wheel on this car feels really good. Yeah, steering wheel on this car feels really good. Like it has like a leather steering wheel and there's some, still black stitching on the inside. And all of your buttons are on the steering wheel, as you can see. So this is just your multimedia and stuff buttons. There's more over here. Then the rest of the stuff is, I think, drive modes and your lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and cruise control settings are all on this side. And then everything here now just controls your infotainment or your digital driver's display, let me say. So I can change settings with these buttons over there. As you can see, stuff is changing, but I'll show that later with a B-roll. So over here is your infotainment. It does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, wireless CarPlay. I might add, I tested that out earlier. And then yeah, pretty much basic stuff. These are just, yeah, if it's Toyota it's gonna be simple, and it's simple because it works. So yeah, I love them for that. And then the dash is just hard plastic, so yeah, scratchy hard plastic. I'm not gonna fault them for that. And then you have this mirror up here, which is electrochromatic, so meaning that if, let me just turn this back up, if the car behind you the driver behind you, like their lights are too bright and stuff, it will automatically dim it just, so you don't get blinded by that, which is pretty smart. And then these are your AC controls. So yeah, these are all physical buttons with a digital display, which I actually prefer over all the haptic stuff. I'm not saying I don't like haptic stuff, I just don't like it when it's not done right. And then you also have this digital gauge cluster, which makes the car feel so much more premium. Like it's all digital. Like that looks really cool actually. So this just displays information such as your speed, your revs, blah blah blah, and yeah, all that stuff. And then you also get this 12-inch infotainment display with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's not wired, I can tell you that much for sure. So okay, let's talk about the tech in this car. So of course we mentioned the electrochromatic rear view mirror. I explained what that is. If you don't remember, it just basically automatically dims bright lights coming from the rear of the car. And another thing this car has is apparently follow me home auto light system. So what it basically does is that it just auto dims the lights when there's a car coming from in front of you, just so you don't have to do it yourself. Yeah, this is very needed for some annoying drivers out there in our country, especially during nighttime. I'm not gonna mention names. And down there are your controls for all that stuff. Is I think the auto dimming thing. And then here is, I don't know what that is. Yeah. And then of course now your adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. It just basically helps you, like, keep in the lane you're in. And adaptive cruise control steers the car for you and keeps you a safe distance from the car in front of you. So it's just basically normal cruise control, but a bit more supercharged, that you do need to have your hands on the steering wheel at all times while it's operating. And then that thing you see over there, that kind of symbol there with the car, you know, that's your lane keeping assist, or your, I think maybe blind spot detection. I don't know which is which, but yeah, it just alerts you if there's a car in your blind spot coming and you maybe wanna turn in there, or yeah, or if there's just like you're on a highway, like with multiple lanes, it will alert you if there's a car on either side of you, which is pretty nifty. So that is basically it for the tech in this car, as far as I can tell. So moving further down into the center console, you get some silver plastic trim along the sides here. Then in there is a space where you could keep your phone. It's not a wireless charger, but it works really well and it's rubberized. And then here is a USB Type C port. I've not seen a single Type A port in this car. And then of course, this is your gear selector. It's lined in leather, and yeah, this feels really nice. And then down here now is your parking brake, and you get some cup holders here, which I feel like this will fit any, and this will fit Coke bottles really well. And then you also get some lighting in there, as you can see, kind of blue. So just one thing to point out about this armrest is this piano black material. As you can see, there's like fingerprints already. We just try to clean it and they're off, but like this picks up fingerprints really well. And I would just like to point that out, not saying it's a deal breaker, but just think about it. And that, I think, also extends all the way around here, but it's just covered by the plastic. So let's talk about these seats now. Actually, before we talk about the seats, let's go to the armrest. This armrest actually really nice. It's lined in leather, very soft. Like, yeah, my arm really likes it there. And it has some white stitching to complement it or contrast it. And underneath the armrest is your storage compartment, and you have a 12-volt socket in there as well to charge Lord knows what. And then now for the seats. So you get full leather seats in this car, as I mentioned before. Only the driver's seat is power operated or electronically operated. You can only adjust the driver's seat electronically. That's what I meant to say. And then down here, like in the middle of the seat, you get this kind of brown line lined in this really nice material, and the rest of it is just basically leather. So this seat does provide adequate bolstering. So this is the bolstering. It just keeps you from like, moving about in the seat, and it's very comfortable. This is very comfy. And yeah, I see myself, not complaining. I really love the seats in this car. And then another cool thing is the door card. So this does, extend also to the back. You get this really nice soft touch material up here with some kind of white stitching. And then you have some brown contrasting leather to, give it that. I think this car is a two-tone leather interior package. Is what I wanted to say when I first saw it. And then you get more of that silver plastic trim there. And then there you have some cup holders or a bottle holder, I don't know, and the storage compartment, and that's just your speaker. So yeah, up here you have your headliner. Nothing special about that. It's finished in black. Feels like what Toyota would put in a car's headliner. And then this is your vanity mirror. Mm, the lighting comes from up there, so it's automatic. Like when you open this thing, still not as good as the one I saw in the Cherry. Yet to see a car to beat that. And that is basically it for our interior, ladies and gentlemen, for at least the front of it. Let's move on to the back now. So let's get in the back to see what it's like. To see if this is actually worthy for just someone who wants to haul their friends around, or for a family even. This car, it will surprise you. It's very practical. So before we step in, as you can see, you still get more of that two-tone leather kind of thing. Some parts are black, some are brown, which is really nice. And the brown ones, they are very soft, feel really nice. Then you also get electronically operated windows in the back, a cup holder up here instead of down there. I've never seen that before, but that's unique. More power to Toyota. And yeah, you get the exact same treatment in the back as the front. So you also still get full leather seats here. These seats can fold down to give you more space, in your boot. And yeah, it all feels really nice. So let me just have a seat to, wow, this is very spacious. Okay, so right off the bat, in the front, I was, well, in sort of like a default seating position. But here, like, I don't want to close the door. Here, like, I have ample, like foot room, knee room, everything. Can sit like this, and my knee room is basically miles ahead, and headroom even better. And mind you, I'm a very sure, really, I'm a very tall individual, very tall. So I feel like everyone's gonna be very comfortable in the back of this car. So here, of course, the seats are, like I said, they're the same as the front. You get leather like everywhere on the seat backs, and yeah, and then you also get this brown strip I said was running along the passenger seat. And if you push this down, you have sort of an armrest if there's no passenger in the no in the middle bench seat. But it's kind of sort of, yeah, this is gonna get annoying because like this thing is not covered, and yeah, it's really hurting my arm a bit, kind of when you put pressure on it, but it's not that big of a deal. So you also do get isofix anchor points here to like secure child seats into the car, which is really nice. So it does prove my point. This is very practical for families. And then down there, you have two USB-C ports. So, the kids in the back, or let me just say your passengers, can charge their phones. Yeah, which is very convenient. And then, and then, I don't know, I keep saying, and then there's actually nothing more. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But I would also like to point out that yeah, while there is like a hump between, you know, the middle of the car here in the back, it's not as pronounced as on like other cars. It's there, but not as big, which is, I guess, a win. And then you also have this pouch here behind the seat, still lined in leather, where you put those documents you're never gonna read. As far as lighting goes, it's pretty dark in this cabin, or maybe it's just because I'm in the dealership and the dealership is dark, but yeah, guys, it's pretty dark. I hope this does not like, reflect. I hope this doesn't like go forward as you like own the car and stuff, but I really like it here. It's very roomy, like I said. The car doesn't look that big from the outside, but it's very spacious on the inside, which I really like. So let's move over to the boot next, and then We see what's going on back there. See if we can fit a body or two. Let's go find out. So moving over to the boot, unlike other cars, because you guys don't wanna, buy Toyotas, yalla, going for other things. This one you can actually just press a button. Where is it? Somewhere here. Press it, beeps, very scary sound. It opens automatically. That's very nice. It also closes automatically, and this thing forces you to close it like automatically, just maybe to show off that it has the feature. Because even if I decide to do this, it still does that very scary beep and closes on its own. So I don't really know what it wants for me, but I guess that's convenient. Very nice. So let's just open that back up and move my stuff out of the way so we can talk about the boot in this car. So, okay, let's just keep the bag there for context, just to contextualize the size of this thing. So this car has a total boot capacity of 440 liters. I don't know what that means to the viewer, but that's the capacity of the boot. But as you can see, that's your standard Nike bag in the boot. So there is a bunch of space in there. And as a bonus, you can also fold the rear seats down with these latches. I don't want to do that because I'm lazy, but if you need it, it's there, kind of thing. And then, yeah, the boot is lined in this really nice standard boot lining material. And then you also have tie down points, one here, and two over there on each side. So you can tie down those bodies I was talking about earlier. Mhm. Please do not accuse me in the comments. And then what Toyota did with this thing that we have in cars that gets very annoying over time is pretty smart. Let me just line it up. There we go. So this is your parcel shelf. You can put space off here like the psychopaths I see driving around our roads. And what Toyota did with this is that on normal cars, this whole thing is just one unit. You remove it now, it's just there. It's an eyesore. You have to, if you put stuff on top of it, it's gonna break. You get my point. But with this one, you just pull it and it rolls back, and yeah, it's not your problem anymore, which is very convenient. But then one gripe I do have with it, or like a suggestion, is maybe like add a hole here, sort of as a handle, because say my hands are wet and I'm loading stuff in the boot, or like they're just slippery. This it feels really grippy, but I really do not know how it's going to hold up against like oily or wet substances. So yeah, food for thought. If Toyota, if you're watching this video, yeah, highlight your boy. But one thing I see is missing from the boot of this car is a 12-volt socket, and I'm trying to find out. Maybe it's down here. There's nothing there. There is no 12-volt socket anywhere in here, which is pretty weird. Okay, moving on. You also have some points here to hang stuff such as grocery bags, some kind of hooks. That's also really nice. And that's basically it for the boot of this car. Just to summarize, very spacious. You can fold the seats back down electronically, operated, closes electronically. You don't have to apply any force apart from pushing a button. And there's a capacity of 440 liters. So that's it for the boot. That is a very scary sound. Very scary. But yeah. Okay, now let's pop the hood and talk about the performance of this car. The pop the hood lever is there. Made another very intimidating sound, but we just have to get over that stuff. And is this the, yep, I have to fiddle it and find some sort of lever. I found it. It is, oh, that's very heavy. But nope, we go to the gym. Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Okay, let me set you guys up over here. Okay, where does this go? What? Bro, I think I should have figured out how to open this thing before I actually like. Okay, there we go. So this thing actually goes somewhere there. Yeah. Uh, okay. So this car, as you can see, is powered by Toyota's inline four 1.8 liter petrol engine. So it puts out 103 kilowatts of power and 172 newton meters of torque. And it has a fuel consumption of about 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers. And it's paired with an automatic CVT transmission, which drives the front wheel. So this car is front wheel drive, which is very contradictory to the fact that there's this whole off-road styling package thingy. But with that said, I feel like that's a very nice combination of engine and transmission. Okay, I'm not gonna bore you guys. It's just for me for the sake of the video. But yeah, the fuel consumption thingy looks really good. I don't know what you're gonna get in the real world. I'll maybe like do some research and put it maybe somewhere up here. But 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers is good. So if you are like in the market for purchasing this car, blah blah blah, yeah, maybe do some research and stuff also on the competitors. But I feel like this one is also a still very good choice. And yes, I don't know the price yet. I'll put it up there as well. But let me know, if it's in the comments, if it's a good deal. I think it is. I feel like you're getting a lot, very comfortable car. Haven't gotten the chance to like test out the ride quality and all that stuff. But from what I can tell so far, Toyota has like done some very big improvements like with this facelift. So yeah, this is a solid contender. So yeah, that's basically it from me. If you want to see more videos like this, please do subscribe, like, share with your friends. Really helps out the channel. And let me know in the comments what car you want me to review next, like down there in the comments. And if you're interested in purchasing a Toyota Corolla Cross 1.8 XR, please do not hesitate to make a stop by Pupkewitz Toyota on Independence Avenue, and you can come get your quote. The staff are very nice and they'll help you with any, if not all, queries you have. So that was me, Theo. I'm the host. It is very awkward, but yeah, uh, much love. Please subscribe, like, share, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you and bye.